Hey folks, we're back. Thanks for watching. It does appear that we don't quite have a matchup ready to go yet, but that's okay. We can do some kind of just hangout time in the meantime. So actually seeing if I know Neeb just got into, or he's out of a game, so maybe he's either going to game 2 or 3.
I don't know.
I'm actually gonna hop in his game real quick. See what we can catch here. Or try to. It's like bugged. There we go.
There's been a lot of lobby bugs today.
I guess just real ID off me. There you go. So we'll find out. It's 1-0 for Neeb currently is what it is. All right, cool. So Bizzle Reef, game 2. Winner of this goes on to fight against TLO. And this is PvP for those who don't know Hellraise. We'll see you guys in game. All right, folks, it's game number 2. We've just joined into the middle of the series, so we don't actually know how the first game went, but I think not so shockingly, this fella here is a little behind. In the top left, it's Hellraiser.
In the bottom right, as the blue Protoss, he is Ting's Neeb.
Neeb is pretty good from what I hear at Starcraft 2.
Yes.
Actually, silly jokes aside, he was playing Terran for quite a bit of off stream and off racing stuff, so I was kind of wondering if he'd be rusty or not coming into this. Not thinking he would be, obviously, but new patch, new problems for everybody, regardless. I mean, we're watching people like Innovation sit there and beyond literally typing question marks into the chat because they don't understand what's going on, right? So it doesn't matter how good of a player you are, the new patch can catch anybody off guard.
Oh, it absolutely can, but it is a bit more favorable to Protoss in terms of the buffs they got and how many they got. That doesn't mean that they are going to be favored. In fact, some people say, like, you know, Zerg's having a bit better over time. Some people say Protoss, like, it, you know, but the point is, Terrans are the ones that are universally just kind of looking to each other for answers, and no one really has them quite yet. So I'm surprised that Neeb was trying Terran.
I know the Innovation clip made Reddit. I don't know if Beyond's did. Did you happen to see that one with the Cyclone and the Sentries?
Nah, I didn't click on it.
So Beyond walks up to a Protoss base. They've got 3 sentries and a shield battery. He can't kill anything, and he just sits there and he types question marks as his Cyclone slowly dies to sentries, like slowly dies to sentries. I'm like, wow, Beyond was really like, shield batteries are cool, huh?
Oh man, the dude, what I woke up to was not that clip, but rather the Muslim tweeting about Beyond stream again.
Beyond streamed with a camera, and he has like blonde hair now, or silver hair.
Oh, whoa, okay, I didn't. Well, that's what I was talking about. I was talking about you know, they're a month ago, not even like 3 weeks ago. They were talking about how Beyond, you know, uses lowered. He smurfs, right? Like he intentionally leaves games, yeah, to play lower leagues, and then I guess he lost to a diamond player, and the Muslim was really happy about that. That's what I woke up to.
I'm gonna just my opinion out there real quick, guys. I thought everyone made too big of a deal about that. This is a guy who won BlizzCon. I couldn't care less if he's smurfing. Like, I don't know, man. Like, if he wants to show better games on stream, go for it. I love watching Beyond do funny, silly, ridiculous things.
It is a really like fine line between, like, you know, you're an entertainer when you're streaming a lot of times, not a pro gamer, and to be entertaining. He doesn't talk to the chat, but he does try silly builds, silly like micro, you know, show off things occasionally. Like, is it really okay for him to do that? It's the moral question of our decade, Rifkin, and we need our best philosophers on this stat.
Oh, Neeb Stalker. That's actually a really bad start for the Stalker fight. Luckily, his shield battery will make up for all the difference in the world if it gets to complete. Got some shoutouts to do. We'll get you guys in a second, because Hellraiser's actually hot on Neeb's heels, and 4 Stalkers to 2 is a big deal.
Yeah. The next 2 Stalkers just not close to coming out at all. Corona Boost is not being invested into it either because he doesn't have one. He's 10 short, and that shield battery is not going to get up. In fact, he just cancels it. He's going to have to take damage on the Nexus, but luckily for Neeb, Hellraiser is not following this up with anything.
Yeah, this is something that could have gotten much worse than it ended up being, but still getting shield battery, a lot of pressure. Certainly scared Neeb. He got a small probe lead off of this too. All because of the one Stalker being out of position. With Stalkers being so volatile now too, that Stalker dying in the past was honestly not that big of a deal. It was the difference of a couple micro mistakes. But now with Stalkers dealing so much damage per hit, like you really cannot be outnumbered in these small engagements.
A lot of small things there, but very important things it is. Like, Shield Battery could have been earlier, Sentry, if it was a Stalker, would have been a lot more helpful. And if Chrono had been saved onto the 2 Stalkers, that also would have been helpful. But it is what it is. And even though Neeb finds down 5 workers, that's not really catastrophic. Going for a much faster Forge here, no Twilight Council, that could be bad. That's actually the most worrying part of this game, is that Neeb's not going to have Blink and Hellraiser is.
That could be an issue. My thoughts are still, as good as Stalkers are, Immortals are still better. Big if, he's got enough Immortals out, might not be the end of the world for him, but Hellraiser's also going towards, I don't want to say Colossus, but Disruptors are also very weird and different now, so I don't know if they're necessarily the default for that, Robo.
Because they shoot so fast, they seem to have a place in PvP. Of course, they did for a long time, just for the amount of damage they caused. Blink Disruptor was a very big thing for so long, but it fell out for one reason or another. Now it seems to be making a bit of a comeback. They might not get 10 Stalkers, but they get 2 much faster. Wow, Neeb. Nothing's going right for him this game.
No, timing on that was so perfect at the Hellraiser. He was moving out. I think he knew about what was going on too. Something was timing-wise going to be heading that direction, so catches that Warp Prism very nicely. Still though, Immortals +1, Neeb does not have Blink, and that really sucks, but I think defensively speaking, he still might be able to take some fights, because even if Hellraiser's blinking away, he still has to come back and fight Neeb. Barrier, wow, gets chewed through so quickly, I didn't even see the barrier go up.
Yeah, that was really weird. I didn't see it either.
Maybe it's a bug with the skin? I remember maybe something about that rings a bell. But
maybe.
Disruptors are being made for Hellraiser while Neeb gets his own Blink back at home. Quick, I guess, catch up on things while we have a moment here. Thank you, Lentaro, for the new sub. GG Styles, Duddles as well. Duddles! Who the hell is Duddles anyways? Thank you guys for the new subs. And GG Styles comes back for 2 months with Hey Queer Hey. Or Queen? Queer? Oh, okay, well, I'm just gonna leave that name alone. This is great cast with a heart. CGTF2. Thank you for the 47 months, says Rip Terran.
Didn't we have that same comment? Oh no, it was Make Terran Great Again, that's right.
Make Terran great again. Also, some bits get thrown in the mix. Thank you guys all so much for your support, whatever way it may be. Neeb's also thrown in a Dark Shrine. This is going to be kind of interesting to see. I can kind of, like, in a regular fight we saw, Archons and Charge-Lot seem to still be the Pent-Ultimate composition that people shoot for, at least in Korea. But Blink, DTs, and hell, DTs with Blink, I'll go far enough to even say that much. Good ways to get around the Disruptors. But Neeb is just running for it. He has to. He's got to either focus on the Disruptors or take the hits. Split the best he can.
Oddly enough, there's less micro to do against these new Disruptors. Oh, well, jumping on top of them is still very good micro, and that worked out fine, so I guess I'll hold off what I was going to say about the new Disruptors for a second while Neeb takes a really great fight.
Yeah, +1 making... Oh, the Stalkers deal 23 damage a shot. Ugh.
So, all right, well, watch the rocks break down. You know, right there, I think could have been the best example for what I was going to talk about. The Disruptor immediately hits once its center finds a unit. So unlike what happened before, where it had that time and it kind of like beep-bopped around, right? Could be microed against until it actually exploded. This is pretty instant. Apparently you can still blink out of it just in time, but it's really difficult.
Oh my god. Bits and parts go flying. That being said, all that did was even up the army supply. This is still pretty rough. I guess this kind of reminds me of the stasis trap dynamic a little bit, where maybe you're better off sacrificing a stalker so it eats the hit while the arrest blink away. But either way, DTs start coming in behind this too. Detection is not quite here, but cannons are coming down in the mineral lines.
Shield batteries will definitely help. I mean, Neeb is not the one with the explosive power. He has the power over time. But DTs weren't made in Archons. Actually going for harassment. Fighting the cannons before they're actually done and dealing a good amount of damage. I guess that cannon finished.
Hellraiser's handling this pretty well, though. Uh-oh, Disruptor start coming in. Get some good shots on these Stalkers. Oh my god. The dancing here out of Neeb is good, but it's still difficult to keep up with this. He blinks in to try and finish off the Disruptors. Shield Battery's going to keep a lot of them alive. Shield Battery's a hell of a thing.
That it is. Neeb is losing drastically out in supply. This got all types of chaotic. You remember, he really never got a third base. It's only halfway done now. The ZTs are still doing a little bit of damage, grabbing a gateway here, maybe another one over here, but not enough to make up for the army trades that just happened. I
will say, though, even though Hellraiser's got more probes, that's 2 bases that weren't mining during this whole duration, and we're not using Game Heart, so I can't show you the graphs, but if I could, Neeb spiked up, despite not having the third, despite being down on probes. The fact that that was almost like a full minute of no mining for the main and the natural was devastating for Hellraiser's income.
That is certainly true. I just wish we had the income graph, because it still doesn't feel like it'll be as devastating as Neeb just not having more probes in a third base.
No, I agree. I don't think Neeb is in a great spot at all, but this is like a little bit more manageable than him having done nothing and just being on the outs for this. He's also going to be going for his own disruptors, I guess, with his Robo on the way. And that weird thing in the production, that's a Warp Prism. This is the Shakuris Warp Prism, by the way, guys. One of the purchasable skins. I actually really, I've only memorized this one because I really like the way this Warp Prism looks. Like a lot.
It's pretty neat. For me, it changes the shape of the Warp Prism. Like a turd, though, and I don't really like it.
Stomping Grub, do you see this update from the admin in chat?
Yes, I did. Terran survived.
As you say, I love Bly, but Keen managed to beat Bly. So Keen and Nurchio will be the next best of 3 we cast in the semifinals.
All right, go ahead.
I just hope Keen's playing mech or something, man.
Probably. He was playing it last time we saw him. That was the Ting group. But Neeb's finally on his own disruptors. There aren't that many of them. And, you know, the trade-off kind of is you usually don't get the 10 stalkers like I was talking about, but you grab 2 or 3 almost guaranteed, but not if it dies.
Well, the disruptors, as we've seen, have been able to level out the army supply. Maybe Neeb is the one who gets a couple of good hits and can change things up. But still, even with the shots being changed from the way they were in the past, these are the same interactions from the same units. First shot wins. Good connection. Stalkers trying to snipe that one off. Wasn't quite able to pull it off. Now it's Stalkers versus Stalkers. Both players have +1. Neeb's advantage is, though, through Defender Warp-ins, as there's no Warp Prism here on the front line just yet out of Hellraiser. But disruptor shots are looking to seek and hit their targets.
Okay, that disruptor goes down. Thinning out Hellraise disruptors is really important, but things are so chaotic. The shots keep eating faster make this a weird thing to cast.
Neeb's actually microing around these disruptor shots really well, all things considered, but this is oh no! Really good damage out of Hellraiser is what I was going to say. And then he blinks past another disruptor, takes the shot, loses some more of his own stalkers. Warp Prism in the meantime. Hello?
He's a little bit late to the party, yeah. I just realized that there's a other type of micro you can do against disruptors now, and that's what Neeb just tried to do. He failed, but he tried, and that's pull a stalker forward to activate it. Again, the old disruptor was time-based.
And that's exactly what I was trying to describe earlier, but I guess did a poor job of doing. But it's kind of like where Zerglings are baiting out the stasis trap, right? You just send the one in so the rest don't get trapped. Kind of the same thing with this disruptor. Like, you sacrifice the one unit to save the 7 or 8 of them.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's that stupid train thing. Like, train's going down, there's like 5 people are gonna die on one track, 1 person on the other. But you know the person on the other track or something. I don't know, but the greater good and all that. Kind of how disruptors are forcing the fight. There's so many disruptors here out of both sides, so this could... I still sit here, I'm looking at the gamble. Statistics are basically like 1 good shot is better for the player who's got more disruptors. It is 10-5. Like, Hellraiser at some point should get a hit, whether he...
Oh my god.
Oh no, there's so many disruptors caught in the front line there. Oh my god, that was almost like 5 of them dying.
These disruptors are so bulked up, but the one on the front's looking to bait any shot that gets close to him. Exactly what it did. It's not going to happen again, though.
Oh my god! From 10-5 in 1 shot, Neeb is somehow fighting back. He was down in army supply. He was down in income. But now he's matching base for base of Hellraiser. The income is certainly caught up, and that army is no longer behind.
I have no idea how he was able to do that. He was down in army supply. He was down in disruptor counts for all of this game because he started disruptor counts so late. And yet somehow in a chaos that lasted for like 4 minutes, he's the one that comes out on top, almost. Hellraiser's still in a good position, but he's lacking on gas right now.
I'd say Hellraiser probably won this game against the majority of other Protoss players out there. Like, Neeb bringing this back requires this certain level of calm that I think only Neeb can pull off.
I watch that, and that type of micro actually is like, I look at it, I'm like, can I even do that? I look at Starcraft 2 for the most part, and I'm like, I think I could do that. I would not be macroing at the same time, right? Like, I'd suck, but I could do that. But I look at that, and I'm like,
put me in Archon mode on the slowest game speed, and maybe we could pull that off together.
Yeah, that's been crazy. And of course, they both make mistakes, but I feel like I just would have lost every single unit by now. Going for charge actually is also another mechanic that's a little bit different. That also really would mess with the time-based disruptors, but I feel like charge would be easy to deal with these new ones. We'll see.
Well, charge or not, he is going to come around the attack on the side here with some zealots. Hellraiser does have the army supply lead to be able to pull this off. Neeb does not have some big bank that's waiting to do warp-ins. He's still stressed and not in a great spot. He spent all this game playing catch-up, but that was really it, like playing catch-up. Ace K? Bad joke. But seriously, he finally caught up in the game, only for Hellraiser to get a little bit more ahead. His upgrades are on +3 versus Neeb's +2. He's moved on to this air tech, and he's transitioning to these Stargates. Late game Protoss for the Sky didn't really change much with the patch, with the key difference being the Mothership, I guess, and how it's built, but otherwise Carriers, Tempest, Void Rays, all mechanically still very the same.
They are mechanical units, that's right.
Yes, correct.
Thanks. So 5th base is getting denied once again, but Neeb's been at that disadvantage. That, you know, lose behind on one base doesn't seem to matter quite yet, but yeah, that Stargate condition, that is the result of Hellraiser being up on the income for most of this game and still having a strong army. Neeb, I don't know how Neeb deals with that other than get a lucky hit into disruptors and then blink underneath all these units.
I think Silent Rebel in chat said it best, by the way. Such a stupid interaction between these units, but so hype.
That one stalker's head was flying.
I just realized the greatest thing you could probably do for this, if your micro is so crazy insane, like let's assume for a moment Neeb has unlimited micro capabilities, right? Hallucinate zealots or probes, because each hallucination gives you either 2 zealots or 4 probes. You could use those to walk into the disruptor shots and bait the shot.
Huh. That's not a bad idea. Of course, it's a, yeah, I said, like, that's a lot of micro to do, but charge lots just wrapped around the stalkers, the disruptors. Whoa, whoa, whoa. He must have had him on a different hotkey. They're nowhere close to the army fight.
Oh, there's some weird finesse to this, though, where if they come from behind, they might catch Neeb off guard.
Oh, my God.
Disruptors to the front, and now disruptors to the back. Whether he intended to use it like this or not, he's got the uncanny disruptors for the backside. Gets Neeb's disruptors, picks off the sentries. Oh, the split, the last second. No, Neeb, that was actually really sexy. That being said, though, Neeb now down 60-something army supply, and even with a big warp, and keep in mind, guys, Hellraiser's not banking on these gateway fights. He's moved on to carriers, and literally bigger and better things.
Yeah, I think Neeb's have to tap out of this game. It started off poorly. He really tried to bring it back, but Hellraiser just continued expanding, you know, able to reinforce whenever he did take a bad trade. Neeb's gonna try and back off and buy time, I guess, but he's gonna buy a lot of time.
The carriers, I guess, going back to the stalkers for a moment, every time we've talked about air units and stalkers in this game, it's been Liberators, it's been Tempest, you name it, and stalkers blinking under them, they deal more burst damage, they can focus them down more quickly nowadays. I don't think that's actually going to work with disruptors in play. Even if you could, theoretically, one-shot a carrier, the problem is your blink is on cooldown, and there's going to be like 6 or 7 disruptors underneath this. That's worse than storms to deal with. Like, you're going to lose so many stalkers trying to deal with these carriers. His only option is to respond with air, and Neeb is so late to the party with not just air, but a 5th base, the 6th base, you name it. Like, I'm actually genuinely impressed with Hellraiser. There's been some throwy moves this game, for sure. That being said, he got to air so much faster than Neeb. He's in a position where he should have control of the game.
I'm pretty much can guarantee if we saw the income graph, Hellraiser had been winning it for all of the game, and then probably at certain points substantially so, because he is continuing on with upgrades faster, expanding faster, and tech transition faster. All of that has to do with a stronger economy at one point.
Nothing to mean to defend this.
Yeah, I'm gonna take out the upgrades. Not a bad thing to target. I think also like a fleet beacon would be a pretty good thing to target too if you could find it. Robotics Bay, yeah, sure. Maybe you can kill the disruptors and it's hard to remake them.
This problem, Hellraise is actually maxed and walled off. Like he actually can't respond to this in time. He's going to lose so many buildings because of this.
Yeah. His War Prism is cleaned up by Neeb's roaming stalkers, and Neeb is buying time to get to Tempest and more of his own disruptors. He was down 60 supply, not like 3 minutes ago.
Oh,
and what the hell? Oh, I actually recalled it. Or okay, I'll move his army in here.
So I guess if you just walk the mothership, you can recall your units to it now. That's right. I forgot how that changed. Recalls all the units in the area to the mothership. So, all right, main for main, base for base. I wish I had known that was going to be. And then he does the reverse recall. Oh, that's so sick.
It's pretty dirty.
It is. All right, let's explain these mechanics really quick, though, because these are new guys, and it's actually the first time we've got to see them, so it caught me off guard, caught Zombie off guard. First off, the Nexus recall you just witnessed has a 2-minute shared cooldown amongst all the Nexus, so you can't cast recall again for some time. The Mothership one is a little bit more finicky to explain, because it's basically a mobile Nexus now, in terms that it can recall units to it. So if it is the lone single unit that sneaks around the side of the map and gets over here, it can recall a whole army to it, Arbiter style.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say Arbiter is what's come, but it's a huge, slow-moving unit that is like painfully obvious and should be seen. Whereas the Arbiter, well, not as much. Doesn't take as long as to build. If anyone even played Brood War, I suppose. But
well, if you played
the
Brood War,
mechanic is there.
If you played Brood War, you had a hard time looking at your map compared to Starcraft 2, anyways, right? So.
Hard time looking at your map.
Well, it's like I'm just saying, like graphically everything's worse. It's like a lot harder to notice things. Arbiter would like maybe slip by a little bit easier, not because it's a sneaky unit, but just because of the graphics.
Yeah, well, I don't know about the graphics part, but yeah, I think there's a point about that with the mini-map. There's actually so many more units and things that appear on mini-maps in Brood War, like fucking spider mines.
This is hilarious. He's trying to clean up supply by giving away the probes, but he actually kills some of Neeb's probes in the process.
Yeah, far more important than Arbiter talk is the continued game here. Neeb was down so much in supply so many times in this game and has brought it back. His Tempest would have taken on Hellraiser's carriers, so Hellraiser is also building his Tempest now. 8 disruptors to 5. I mean, if they get good shots, they get good shots. 3 disruptor difference might not matter.
Oh.
And I really don't know where this game is going to go except to chaos. Eventually, they're both going to fight with their large armies.
I just realized, unlike previous versions of this, where we've seen like what's that, Stats and Hero and other people do like these epic PvPs with a late game air, shield batteries are an insane defender's advantage now. Like a ridiculous one. You gotta consider Tempest, like if they're not one-shotting you, shield battery will top that up right away. Neeb's Mothership's also very late to the party. As we can see here, shield battery actually saves the Tempest that otherwise should have died.
Occasionally he's targeting the interceptors accidentally, that is. Trying to go for the Mothership core now, or the ship, sorry. Does grab it, but is there enough left over to take care of all these carriers?
For the ground point of view, it's not looking like it, but the Tempests are still trading up for the Tempest here in the sky. Disruptor's coming in now with the Disruptor shots, looking to clean up some of the Stalkers. Hellraiser's got a lot of his carriers still standing from this.
The carrier interceptors ended up really messing Neeb up, I think. The army supplies were not that different. Of course, there's a lot more Stalkers for Neeb, so that's also a big problem, but a couple of really key carrier shots went on a couple of interceptors. Maybe Neeb can continue to hold. This entire game has been Neeb holding and living. I really feel like he should be dead now.
Neeb is the cockroach Protoss. He just won't die. While this goes on, though, I mean, what kills me is Neeb took a long time to get to this point, and he is still behind, even if he catches up once again. If there's some sort of theoretical possibility where he catches up again, the thing is, Hellraiser has got so much money banked up. He's given away probes to get a bigger army supply. Okay, cool. On top of this, his upgrades far exceed Neeb's. We didn't even notice it for the fight, but he's on +3 air weapons compared to Neeb's +1.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Neeb is not taking a good fight since the Disruptor micro was all over the place. How in the world is this guy actually going to take a winning engagement?
That's a really good question, frankly.
At this point, like, it blew my mind that he ended up coming back with the disruptors. But hey, that happens with the disruptors, right? Even though the micro was cool and it was impressive, it was still disruptors. That's kind of what they were there for even a year ago. But if you came back from losing 2 humongous armies, one of them to late game carriers, that's not one lucky hit. It's literally just like numbers. And yet Hellraiser didn't push the numbers advantage. He retreated, waited for a mothership again, waited for more upgrades, and has given Neeb time to get to a better army that is more air than the last one, not as many stalkers, and his own continued upgrades. And if Neeb actually wins a damn fight and Hellraiser loses, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
My thoughts are PvP does have like the greatest potential for throws. Getting over dedicated, walking to a stasis trap, shield batteries, like I'm not saying it's likely Hellraiser loses, but I can actually see a not so crazy situation where he does.
I feel like it's not that throwable with what occurred 3 minutes ago, the 70-60 supply lead and carriers versus no Tempests. I'm surprised that wasn't just the A move to victory.
I know disruptors are a really big threat and have been for some time. Oh my god, I love how Hellraiser's offensive shield batteries. But I'm surprised Archons haven't been a little bit more prevalent through this. Maybe a Storm would be cool to help flush out some of the interceptors or something, but Archons for some splash damage of some variety. They can actually soak hits because they've got so many shields, obviously.
Oh, no. He's targeting the air, which isn't a bad thing, but in doing so, he's not taking care of the building shield batteries. Uh-oh.
This dynamic is going to be really weird. Both these units have way too much range. So like the carriers and the disruptors and the mothership, everything's being held back, but it is the war of shield batteries. However, what we're seeing, like, if you're going to one-shot a unit, a shield battery won't help you at all.
Yes, that's very true. Thing is, the Tempest shots would actually have to be so together to really be like a literal like one shot that even a second's gap with this many shield batteries might be enough to save it.
The cannons, yeah, I really like the cannons here, not so much for damage, but just detection. Let's be real, that's going to be a possible problem for both players with the motherships in play. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, the stupid attacks on the sides of the map. These are hilarious. Neeb still has no bank compared to Hellraiser. If Hellraiser recognized this, I don't think Hellraiser has any clue, but if Hellraiser knew how much of a gas lead he had this game, it would be okay to take bad trades because Neeb can't replace his Tempests as easily and fluidly as Hellraiser can.
Hellraiser was, I think, just sizing up the game, deciding where he wanted to go, and in doing so, loses some of this front line that, I mean, this is a lot of money, except that he doesn't have more.
But it is just minerals, though, which I think is absolutely noteworthy. This is not like he's losing a bunch of gas units. It's cannons, it's pylons, it's shield batteries.
He's scared, man. He doesn't want to take the fight. He doesn't want to protect these shield batteries. He'd rather just go back and expand.
Ooh, I'm hoping Hellraiser's doing cool moves again. He did this last time, right? So the army goes north, might distract Neeb. Mothership goes hypothetically to the natural, to the main, recalls, and then he can recall out again because it's off cooldown. He's got recall available.
That one Zealot could be a hero. Come on, Zealot, you could be a hero, dude.
Where are we looking?
The mothership just stopped in the bottom left,
here.
and something could scout it. That's really important. Please.
It's not going to.
It has to move to do anything.
Well,
it's just staying there, though.
This army could actually just go to a base, though. That's the thing. He also knows through revelations and oracles that the main army for Neeb is down here. So if Hellraiser would just play around the map, he could actually kill Neeb through some weird variation of a contain.
So the Nexus recall is like a really interesting recall because, well, it's a cooldown, first of all, but it also takes so long to recall the units to the Nexus, and then it's like instantaneous after that. I don't know what the Mothership recall looks like. Is it the reverse of that? Or is it the same thing? Because that could be a big difference maker too if the Mothership is found and it's like the old recall where once it's transported it doesn't move for like 5 seconds and do anything for 5 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know. We didn't get to see it in action. I keep checking on it because I want to not miss it when it does it this time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is cool.
Yeah.
I love the fact that this is an option. The fact that he's actually got this going means he's got more options than Neeb, frankly. Neeb is stuck defending, turtling up, and we've seen Neeb play turtle games, guys. I always reference the one game. I'm gonna do it again. Neeb versus Snoot. mine out an entire map with players' mass cannons. Like, it's something that I know Neeb's got patience for. Hellraiser's the one who might get a little bit, I guess, antsy, as it were.
That is true. But Hellraiser is been the one that's been backing off, trying to play it smart and patient. So I think he's got a lot of patience as well. I
think that's a mistake, though. Going back on it, there's no way for him to know like we know. But the gas bank difference this game was substantial. It still is. 4K almost to barely 1,000. Any bad engagement Hellraiser takes, again, just emphasizing he can rebuild those units. Neeb, not necessarily.
All signs really point to Neeb having the worst economy.
Oh, did he lose the Mothership? Looks like it got sniped down here. So Zealot did his job.
Nice job, Zealot. But yeah, this game, 30 minutes long, it should have been like Howard's thinking, I'm in the lead, I'm in the lead, I'm in the lead. But when you actually think about what he had to do to get here, he witnessed Neeb come back from what looked to be catastrophic fights like 5 times at this point. So he's probably really second guessing what he probably knows is a lead, but is like, but what if it isn't?
I just want to correct myself. Looks like it wasn't picked off. I thought it was because it was missing. It's just managed to escape, albeit barely.
Yeah, I actually really want to emphasize. I feel like this game, if it is lost by Hellraiser, a lot of it has to do with second guessing. If this guy is a good Protoss, he's becoming one of the guys to keep an eye on as far as European Protosses go. So he's got the skills, right? He has like the knowledge and the feel of the game, but I think a lot of it is just second guessing. Every single time he's backed off instead of pushed. It's not because he doesn't figure he has a lead. He just really isn't like, he doesn't want to risk it. Neeb seems to always come back regardless.
I feel so bad for the dudes in the semifinals, by the way. You have to wait. Right. And this is game 1. If Hellraiser actually wins this, then Neeb's going to play another one of these, and it could go long. If that's the case, we'll have to let one of the semifinals possibly start without us, guys, because we don't want them to be held up all day, but for now, everyone should still be waiting, hopefully. Also, we just had Pig give us a big ol' resub. 19 months. Thank you very much, Pig.
If he's going to recall, he has to do it now. The recall on this side of the map takes a very long time.
Yeah, but at the same time, the awkwardness is carriers don't have range and the Tempest cooldown to attack. Oh, wait, did he use the Mothership recall?
He did. That might be better, though. So someone asked in chat, and I just responded in chat, but to respond to everyone, the Mothership recall is not on a timer. It's energy-based. The Nexus is on a timer.
Yeah, Nexus is a 130 seconds, so about 2-minute cooldown. But yeah, as I look at the Mothership, it's only half the energy. Interesting. Very interesting.
That might have been an intentional smart move, in case he does need to use a Nexus recall in the next minute and a half.
These disruptors that are stopping the Zealot attacks. I mean, Neeb's trying to do the most of what he can, but each of these Zealot attacks, he's not really got money. Affording these attacks, not really something he can do.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is that it seems to be Neeb doing all this harassment.
Oh my god.
But Hellraiser, not really, yet Hellraiser's the one with all the money in the world. His attacks have been moving his army, not harassment.
So only in a PvP could Riffin come up with a moment to balance complaint about Terran.
Are you real? These disruptors are trying to take out buildings? What was that?
I mean, it's always done building damage, though.
But, I mean, he just took out his own, though. It looked really weird. I guess there was a DT I didn't see.
Oh. No, it was the Zealots he cleared out.
Oh, okay. I looked after the Zealot had died. It looked so weird. Alright, so the disruptors are going to protect the buildings, then. Alright, then.
So, I was just going to bring up, only in PvP could Rifkin, of all people, find a way to complain about Terran balance for a moment here. But it occurs to me now that between Zerg transfuses, shield batteries, Terran actually have the worst healing in the game. In fact, I think Mutalisk regen almost outranks it too. Like, feels bad, man.
Yeah. You're not helping all the people that always say you're Terran by that type of statement. Oh, TT. Oh, you had no chance.
So, granted, there's a little bit of trolling in chat, but I actually want to touch base on this. Wonderful snipe off out of Hellraiser. Things like these Mothership recall mechanics, these are brand new. These are like less than a week old. I'm not trying to defend myself, and perhaps we should be better educated, depending on your point of view as a viewer. But the thing is, like, I look at this, these are really cool new things. I love seeing players already taking advantage of them in certain ways, like Hellraiser displaying that recall, Neeb using it instead of the Nexus. This is, to me, is just so cool. So like, bringing the hate on all you want, I'm thoroughly just enjoying watching the interaction, because this PvP standoff like this, yes, it's still about as stale as it used to be, but knowing that there's opportunities now that there weren't in the past opens up a lot of cool doors, a lot of cool potential.
I mean, I would just say fuck you. I mean, there's not too many PvPs that I play that take 35 minutes to go to a Mothership. And I've played some Perdos. I don't know.
I just
love
love
to find out.
I'm gonna give a quick dynamic of that example of like, I'm trying to be like really PC and like considerate, and Zombie response is fuck you. But if this clip ever made Reddit, it would be Rifkin is so fucking stupid and I'm
you always love bringing this up. You always do this, but it's like I choose my battles a little more wisely.
No, that's fair. Like I'm not trying to make you have to be a terrible person. I love the dynamic of how different the answers were, basically. Disruptor shots for Neeb are going to work out pretty well. He'll actually get the base snipe, which is great because that was supposed to be Neeb's base anyways. He tried taking that earlier in the game, if you guys recall. Cloud7, by the way, thank you for the 22-month resub. Making it on screen for a pretty epic game. Resources lost. You know, I'm actually really mad at Hellraiser now. If I'm going to be honest for a moment here. He, again, had no way to know this, but he had such a big gas lead that Neeb has actually bridged the gap of. And I'm shocked to say that because for so many points of this game, Neeb was sitting on a non-existent bank of both gas and minerals. But he has clawed his way back up.
I love the units lost tab right now too. 111 stalkers stat for Neeb.
I'm looking more at the 31 disruptors and 22 disruptors.
14 oracles. I love that. They've been rebuilding them to cast Revelation, but every single time you get the cast, the Tempest kill it.
Yeah, almost 15 oracles apiece at this point. One of the key differences, though, is I guess we do have a lot more carriers for Hellraiser that we're invested into. Neeb has just gone pure Tempest. So, when it comes to air for air, Neeb should win all the air battles. But if Hellraiser was to do any sort of fighting, whether it's a base trade or just going around the map, like the carriers are better than. Also, Stalkers are showing some potential worth here. They soak up a lot of shots. Maybe snipe off one of the Tempests.
Yeah, in a way. I'm surprised they are being used at all, but at least they are being used somewhat. Hellraiser, as you said, he's lost the gas war.
How many?
He's down in gas, and he's actually lost control of Neeb's important bases. Neeb being at bottom left is really important. All of these shield batteries.
Zombie, without looking at the structures tab, how many shield batteries would you guess Neeb has?
8 plus 5 plus 6, it's like 40?
Close. 50. He has 50 shield batteries across the map.
Yeah, I thought I was going a little overboard. Oh, okay, I didn't quite see how many shield batteries those were. I saw like half of that.
This is so ridiculous. A lot of gateways came down too. So I really like this. I think Neeb has recognized too the power of what is possibly swapping out for these units. I don't think he's going to be giving away Tempest intentionally to like make room for this. And that was really stupid to watch. But what I do think will happen here is if he recognizes the opportunity to just like mass out Stalkers or maybe a huge Zealot warp in, just something that's more mobile and can get around the slow-moving Hellraiser army might be a really cool opportunity. Also, this DT is going to defend the base, whereas Hellraiser's opted for mass static defense. Neeb's just been relying on the odd warp in.
These sentries are supposed to die. Their job is to die, and they're going to kill a Nexus at this rate. They're the Stalkers. If they had targeted the Observer, if they could have seen that, that could have been beautiful.
Well, brought to my attention, we've missed some subs, so I'm quickly gonna address this. CGTF2, thank you for the 47-month resub. I think we got that earlier, but just to be safe, for Terran. Yoga Gear, 3 months, huge words. I will celebrate my 3 months with a toast. When we drink, we get drunk. When we get drunk, we fall asleep. When we fall asleep, we commit no sin. When we commit no sin, we go to heaven. So let's all get drunk and go to heaven. That's so many words, but it's not bad. MechSteel42 came back for 12 months. That's 1 year. That's the Partoof time, baby. So send us a message on the channel. We can get you a form to fill out after the bot verifies 12 months. Pig, we gave some love to as well. Klondike7. And then Kawaiian, I'm just gonna say this, man. I hate to say it like this. For 38 months in a row, you've been subbing, but I would be very happy if you unsubbed. Not because of any reasons you brought up in chat, but anytime we miss your sub shout out or like you sub on a vodcast, you get so passive aggressive and take it personally. I don't want to read any of that anymore. So do us both a favor, maybe unsub and just keep enjoying the channel without the weird stigma of like attention to it.
The latest one was a bit bad.
Yeah, I didn't read that part out on purpose because it's just incredibly wrong.
No. So, I mean, think about subs, but I'm at this point really where I can't help but laugh. I mean, we were around casting the Swarm Host games that took like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Like, I'm gonna go make some pancakes right now type thing. But usually those games were like, no one did anything for the first 10 minutes anyways. You saw where it was going. But this game was nothing but Neeb almost dying, action-packed disrupt their balls fighting each other for the first 15-20 minutes. How did it end up here at pretty much a stalemate where now Neeb is the one that's winning in the income and the bank? How and why?
This is where you do like the freeze frame, record scratch. So you're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Yeah, I don't... Okay, but...
Oh, he's going for it. Hellraise is going for it.
Oh, well, finally. But Neeb is down in armor supply, and it's something that he maybe noticed that. Neeb has a huge bank, though, so now, 15 minutes ago, we were talking about Hellraise forcing the issue because he could trade poorly and still win. Now that's Neeb.
Yeah,
how?
Neeb... There's a lot of questions of how and why, especially because it took him so long to get the extra bases up, but I think a lot of this came down to the fact that his Tempests, the resources lost, we haven't been drawing much attention to, but they've been slowly creeping up. Like, this went from being so far bad for Neeb, like, he's actually almost evened up the resources lost on a 62,000 resource scale. So these Tempests, ineffective at pushing and doing damage, they have been sniping off an Oracle, where Hellraiser doesn't get a snipe off. They've been sniping off a Tempest, where Hellraiser doesn't counter with a snipe off. And all of these very slow little trades have brought Neeb to this position.
Yeah, that... I wish there was a resources lost income graph. Why isn't there one?
Well, we probably get one made.
Yeah, I guess so. Of course, they're not using the game heart here, so I can't bring it up at all. But anyways, I really would like to see like what it started off at, like minute 15, for instance. Because I'm guessing that wasn't a 4,000 gap. I'm guessing that was like a 10,000 gap or something. But yeah, 4,000 really isn't that bad. It's certainly made up for everything else. And I just can't believe that Neeb not only gets this huge bank, but he also has so much more sag defense. That's like the other thing. So much sag defense. This is gonna die.
Okay, well... Hellraiser's at least getting something done to shut down income. Whether he's the one who wants to take the space, it's just important that he keeps Neeb from getting it, who already has an extensive lead through a bank, through minerals and gas that he can warp in with at a moment's notice. So taking this base out was good. This is like the one last remaining base on the map that's not been claimed. Everywhere else is pretty much mined out. There's no money left on the map for either of these players to claim, except with this base.
That might be the most important base of them all. Hellraiser certainly needs it, so he instantly slaps the Nexus down. Not too many minerals beyond that, though. 900's not too safe at this stage in the game. We're going to be making very expensive Tempests.
Oh, he recalls over this way, over yonder through the Mothership, not through the Nexus. So he's going to respond to this. I mean, these are killing a base that was expired. He did not need to keep this Nexus alive. These pylons, none of that mattered for survival. Oh man, he kills so many of Neeb's Tempests though on the way out. Neeb is making 5 at a time, so he's up to 19 again already.
They're at such low probe counts. Oh my gosh. 20 to 28 probes. They are getting down to literally only having one base mining at a time. Hellraiser right now, yeah, basically one base.
It is actually...
Go ahead.
I'm trying to figure out where the army supply has gone so wonky here, because it's similar Tempest counts, but Neeb is behind by 5 carriers. What is that supply being used on? I guess the Oracles? Or he's starting his carriers now. Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah. I wonder about the addition of the carriers instead of just more Tempests. But either way, maxing out is good. Of course, has to get all the additional upgrades for it. Graviton Catapult. This is such an important base. Hellraiser might have a bank right now because he stopped trading, but this fifth, the one that's right next to it, is about to run out of minerals.
Yeah, both players are in such a weird spot right now. I guess as boring and slow as it took to get to this point, we actually have the extra 0 added onto the timer now. So hitting that hour point, maybe. But it can't go much further than that, because the reality is, even with the increased resources, by the way, let's remember that, right? Each base has more minerals than 4.0. Even with the increased resources, at some point, somebody's going to bleed out. They take one too many of the wrong Tempest shots. They lose one too many shield batteries. At some point, somebody runs out of money before the other. And for a large portion of this game, that was going to be Hellraiser. Now it's Neeb and Hellraiser a little bit neck and neck here with these the income. And if Hellraiser can actually secure this base, this could be what wins the game.
Yeah, I guess so. I actually kind of even want to get down to like counting minerals left over. That is right. Like 1,500 there, and then a full base over there.
This has barely been touched. This base is still basically fresh.
Like 1,300 minerals. Yeah, that would give him, but it's only so much more. And Neeb already has an 1,000 up on the bank. They left with kind of roughly even income.
This is such a PvP. Is what it is. In the meantime, thank you, Baurum, for the 40-month resub. Came in a few minutes ago. Loyal sub with a smiley face. Thank you very much, dude. We had a 50-month sub earlier. We got a 40-month sub. Where's the 30-month? We're counting down 10 at a time. Neeb's also gone for the attack over here. These bases. Whoa, there's a big recall. Wasn't expecting that. Maybe Neeb wasn't either. His mothership's here too. These carriers can actually fight there in range. This was a big problem for the game. Hellraiser had 5 carriers he was never able to use because they were never in range of his opponent. What? Now he's got a 2 to 3 carrier lead. 15 Tempests to 19. Actually, Neeb might be taking this fight with were it not for these stalkers that warped in. But Neeb's also just warped in his own stalkers. It's come full circle. We're back to the stalkers.
That's so dumb. Howard just taps out.
GG.
47 minutes.
Neeb with the 2-0 will mean we also don't have to delay these semifinals any longer. But even though it's TLO versus Neeb, we're going to be doing Nurchio versus Keen first, folks. So a quick commercial break, and we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys for a brand new best of 3 when we get back.